Oh my goodness! What did we think of that? I mean, I thought it looked phenomenal, and the fact that again, like I own all consoles, so I'm not, what is it? I'm console agnostic. Is that the right term that I'm using?
You do not worship any console god.
Well, yeah, no. But hey, I mean, I'm on Beyond, which is a PlayStation focused podcast, and I gotta say, I was pretty happy to see that it's coming out next year on PS5. But of course, Xbox fans out there, you're gonna be getting it later on this year, I do believe, December 9th, 2024. Kat, what's your takeaway on Indie?
I mean, my takeaway is, when is it coming on a Nintendo Switch? If you're going to put it on PlayStation, the time is now. Put Indie on there. But I think that is one of the most impressive looking games of the show. Troy Baker does a killer Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I do have some questions about how relevant Indiana Jones is still as a franchise, because Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny really came and went, and it feels like it's a franchise that's really for a certain age, but it's clear that Machine Games is approaching it from a place of love. I will say that it will never top Fate of Atlantis, which is forever and always the best Indiana Jones game ever made.
That's what I keep hearing. Matt, what's your, I guess, takeaway from this particular game? And also, like, do you have like are you an indie guy?
I like the indie movies. I don't know if I'm an indie guy, but I don't know what that means. Like, I don't own a hat or a
You don't own a fedora?
I don't own a fedora.
Do you own any leather jackets?
I don't own the leather
whips?
jackets. I don't know if that's like an aesthetic for me, so I don't know if I can call myself
Matt,
an indie guy.
are you a Raiders of the Lost Ark person, a Last Crusade person, or are you more of a Temple of Doom hipster?
I'm a Raiders of the Lost Ark. I like the first
okay.
movie the best, I think, and then Last Crusade is the second best, and I don't really like talking about Temple of Doom. I think that one's kind of a
And then nothing much happened.
And then
after
nothing
that.
much happened after
Weren't
that.
you running from a boulder the other day?
Yeah, that was just no, because I'm not an indie guy.
Oh,
I'm
right.
not-
Sorry. Yeah. It was a rock.
No, to answer the question though, I think it looks great, and I'm super excited. I'm gonna be playing it on December 9th because, like you, I own all the consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay, I have a. It's not a hot take, but I think I will wait to play it on PlayStation 5. Hear me out, Phil Spencer. I know you're watching. I have an Xbox Series X. I have Game Pass till like 2026. But I just PlayStation 5 is like is where everything I have is. My games, my screenshots, like trophies. Like, I know we have achievements and stuff, but I think I'm gonna wait to play it. I mean, like, maybe I'll check it out because I have Game Pass, but like, I don't know. I think the whole console wars, it's not real. But like, PlayStation 5 is kind of like where I play everything, and I don't want to have to like switch over to Xbox, which I know is like kind of like what they don't want because they're making these games for Xbox and Steam and PC, and I appreciate that. But I really do think it would be so fun for all my PS friends to see that I'm playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yes, and I want to speak. I want to speak to that. I would love for us to speak to that. So, like, I mean, this initiative that Xbox is doing, where they're going to be releasing, and they have been releasing certain titles on the PlayStation 5. Obviously, this means more people can enjoy these games. Kat, why in particular, though, do you think that they chose such, I guess, like a AAA title like this to release this on PS5?
I think that they're pivoting their strategy. They've been kind of all over the map on whether a game is going to be an exclusive or not an exclusive, and it seems that they've landed on everything being available on all consoles, but maybe they want to split the difference with a timed exclusive strategy. So that's why I think it's pretty notable that Indiana Jones is coming out in spring on PS5, so that they can privilege kind of the in-house consoles first. Personally, I will be playing it on PC, but that's just my preference. I hope it runs well on Steam Deck. Honestly, it could be really cool on it.
Okay, yeah, and I'm gonna call you out, Jeffrey.
Huh?
I'm gonna call you out. I don't really believe that you're gonna wait till spring to play this game.
You know why? Because I'm actually hoping it's on the Nintendo Switch
Yeah,
successor.
let's go.
Look, you don't need it on Steam Deck because Indiana
Switch
Jones
2.
should be the launch game. Switch 2. No, I think I will. I mean, like, I'm not a huge Indiana Jones. Like, it's not something I think about ever, but I will say it looks really fun. I love Troy Baker. He does an incredible Harrison Ford impression.
No, that's an Indiana Jones impression, not a Harrison Ford.
Yeah. No, he's doing his best Han Solo.
Harrison Ford as
But the first person I remember kind of turned me off when we first saw it.
Yeah.
But like, Honestly, I'm warming up to it. I mean, I loved, this is such a deep pull, but I loved the GoldenEye 007 remake for the Wii, the Daniel Craig version, and it was very fun. And this reminds me of that. And I just like, it looks very fun. You're punching Nazis, like that's great. I want that. Whether it be on the PlayStation 5 or Xbox or PC, you can choose whatever, and it's
Or
fine.
real life.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I'm not. I feel like the consensus is. Shout out to everyone at home, by the way. If you are an indie fan, I think the consensus is we're to go back to my previous term, we're kind of lukewarm indie fans, except for Kat.
What are you talking about? I love Indiana
You're
Jones.
huge.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in your closet you got lots of fedoras and leather. You're wearing a leather jacket right now. One of many, I'm assuming. But yeah, I have Game Pass, so I want to play it on PlayStation, but I don't think that I will be waiting till spring. I'm definitely going to check it out day one when it is released, just to see what it's like. That's why I called you out, because you said you have Game Pass. So I'm like, definitely you're going to be playing it beforehand. Also, you work at IGN, so.
I did forget.
You work at IGN?
I did. Well,
believe it or not.
For now, I don't know if my boss is watching this. I did just realize I will have to buy Indiana Jones on PS5 because it's not. I was like, oh, you can just play it on Game Pass included, and I was like, oh wait, yeah, I'll have to purchase it. But maybe they'll make some cool, like, I don't know, deluxe limited edition statue of Troy Baker in mocap or something.
With him in mocap.
Yeah. In the suit.
I
That's
would
for
love to see that.
The real ones.
Yeah.
The day
Also,
ones.
I love that they kind of like gave us a little bit of behind the scenes of Troy Baker, doing some of the mocap and like him giving us his history and his connection to the Indiana Jones franchise. He's also just like, he's a very good impressionist. So I feel like if they're gonna get anyone to kind of to step up and do this, why not get the GOAT himself right there, Troy Baker. What was he holding? Was that was that his laundry or?
That's
It's
just
a
Troy
statue.
Baker's home. This is what he does for fun.
This is in his home. No, but I think that's definitely. I mean, he's definitely a selling point for me, since he just has like such strong name recognition.
I also feel like he wouldn't sign up for it if he knew it wasn't going to be a
Right.
forgettable game.
Right. Yeah. But I don't know. Did they actually talk about where in the timeline of the Indiana Jones
It's-
franchise this falls in?
It's in the 1930s, and it's clearly before the fourth one, which his name escapes me,
Right.
unfortunately.
Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull, yeah.
Yeah, it's set between Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade.
Oh,
Okay.
So 1930s.
that makes somewhere in that kind of vague area, right?
Yeah.
But
So this one is before Shia LaBeouf.
yes, well before.
Okay.
We don't know
'Cause
he exists yet.
Harrison Ford's old by then. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, is like a little baby Shia LaBeouf gonna appear in this game?
As a post-credit
I think they've convenently forgotten about him because
Why?
he wasn't the most popular character when he was introduced in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Kind of.
Well, I don't
There
I'm
are
hoping for a DLC though, Kat. Come on now.
there were
don't ruin this for
Shia
me.
LaBeouf apologists,
Uh-huh.
but I think broadly, it was kind of negatively received as a successor to Indiana Jones. But the actual game, I think definitely, I mean, Todd Howard is an acknowledged huge Indiana Jones fan, and so he's bringing so much of that passion to this project as one of the main producers.
Yeah.
I think the graphics are incredible. I mean, just look
it
at
looks
this
beautiful.
thing. It's
Yeah.
one of the most beautiful games of this generation. And we've had relatively few graphics showcases this generation. When they've come out, they've really stood out. But by and large, this has been kind of a tough generation for that. So I'm really glad to have a kind of a showcase game coming out this fall.
Yeah, and it was mentioned earlier. We touched on it very briefly. The gameplay. It's first person, but there is instances where you're taken out of that, and it gets to becomes a third person perspective. I believe that's when you're climbing.
Yeah.
Platforming.
I still don't understand the logic of that particular section. I don't mind climbing in first person.
I think platforming in first person is really hard. See Turok Dinosaur Hunter.
So we don't want another one of those, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know a lot about mods, but could people mod the PC version to make it all third person?
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah, have
In fact, I'm sure that's going to be one of the first mods.
All right, I take it back. I'm not playing it on PlayStation 5. I'm playing it on PC.
on PC, yeah, for all the mods. I mean, yeah, they did that with Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh yeah, that's
But
right.
it looked very,
It was very janky.
Yeah.
very janky.
Yeah.
The question that I have is how will it compare to Tomb Raider and Uncharted? Because those two franchises really took the kind of the mantle of the Indiana Jones game, the next gen Indiana Jones game. So to literally have an Indiana Jones game, it's naturally going to kind of beg comparisons to those two franchises. So I'm wondering how it's going to end up holding up.
Yeah, and to that, I'm curious to know what you all think. Like, let's talk about like the relevancy of a game like this in this current day and age with games like Tomb Raider that exist, that have been doing it for several years. Do we think we really need this?
Oh, sure. I mean,
Would you-
I think that if it's really, really good and Machine Games does an amazing job and shows a lot of love for the franchise, then it has a chance to stand out. I think Uncharted and Tomb Raider have always had more of their own vibes. Tomb Raider is very British, actually, and Uncharted, I think, has more of that, Naughty Dog, modern day edge. But Indiana Jones was always a love letter to 1930s adventure movies. And when it's at its absolute best, it has that kind of hazy nostalgia that I think can work really, really well as Indy punches Nazis. I just wondering, is that kind of nostalgia still relevant to today's audience? Because obviously they didn't grow up in the 1930s watching those kinds of movies.
Right, exactly. That's why, like, I'm wondering, that's what, again, that's why I talk about like the relevancy, because like I feel like obviously it has name recognition because it's, I mean, Indiana Jones, but you can't bank on that being like the selling point for the overall audience. Again, like 3 out of 4 of us are lukewarm. That's going to be the word of the day.
You're using that word very
I'm
loose.
using that warm
Word?
that lukewarm.
Lukewarm?
Yeah,
Lukewarm?
I'm using it a lot.
Well, I for
often.
one am warm on this.
I also want to upgrade my position. I am also warm on this.
You're warm on this
warm
now.
On this. I'm not
Yeah.
lukewarm. Just because I'm not an indie guy with fedoras doesn't mean I can't be warm on Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Jeez, I thought you were the god. You should be lukewarm like us because we're Star Wars fans, and Han Solo. You get the reference here? No.
I'm warm.
Okay.
I'm
all
warm.
right. Jeffrey, you're not changing your mind on this, are you?
It's funny because I think that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is still just the funniest title ever. Like, I mean, Dial of Destiny. I mean, that's kind of almost the
Almost
same
a circle.
thing. It's like, yeah, it's like it was Dial of Destiny was kind of a time machine. They go back in time, and yeah, I think there. I know you said something about it not having the name recognition, but I feel like it will. I think a lot of people will see, because you remember in the days of like N64, people would just buy like James Bond or like these kind of like IP-driven games, and I think Indiana Jones coming out this year on like like these like big consoles, like this big AAA game, people know what it is. You kind of know what you're getting into. There's going to be some kids that play this and they're going to be like, this is just like Uncharted, when it's like clearly the other way around. But I think it's going to be enough for it to be like a big thing. I'm excited about it coming to PS5, but it is a funny thing of like, oh, will people care about the game by spring 2025?
Yeah.
Maybe that's when like that PS5 Pro comes out one day. I don't know.
If it's a Game of the Year contender, I think people will care.
Ooh,
It's
okay.
word of mouth and quality will out, and people will check it out.
Also,
So-
there's a Machine Games element that I feel like we're not talking about. Like, I love the Wolfenstein games. I think Machine Games is one of the best first-person developers out there right now. And so the fact that this is their new game, I'm more excited for that than the fact that it's indie.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you all are warming up to this game just as much as I guess we are. Okay. Well, coming up, we've got some exclusive extended gameplay from one of the games revealed during opening night live, plus a few world premiere trailers of our very own to reveal. All that in just a bit. But first, a very quick break. Stick around. We'll see you soon.